What's going on, Dub Nation? I'm your host of Warriors Today by Chat Sports, Allie Barefoot, and we are this close to the NBA trade deadline, so we're going to break down on today's show what the Golden State Warriors need to do ahead of the deadline. There are several areas where they can possibly improve, but there are bigger questions here as to should they make a trade by Thursday's 2 p.m. Eastern Time deadline. Let's go ahead and break it down. I think the first thing the Golden State Warriors should be looking at accomplishing is trading Andrew Wiggins. It sucks because you really wanted him to become a franchise player in Golden State's Bay Area, but unfortunately, the way he's been playing this season just isn't transcending for that to happen. Overall, he's posting career lows. 12.2 points per game, 4.2 rebounds per game, 43% from the field, and 31% from a three-point line, which is absolutely awful for a player like Andrew Wiggins, especially since he was just an all-star in the recent years. And plus, his plus-minus is horrible. Night in, night out. He will have spurts of consistent play, and he does show some life, but then the next game, it goes back to being 1 for 8. It goes back to not doing anything to help the Golden State Warriors win. And what's worse is that he can't seem to connect with a possible future of your franchise player, Jonathan Kuminga, who, yes, I do believe could be a player in the Bay Area for a long time and actually make a difference. And as of right now, Wiggins and Kuminga play horribly together. Adding Draymond Green into the starting lineup with these two players does help. The numbers do show that. But is it enough to have to add a third player into the concoction to make Wiggins play above average? It might be asking for too much. So overall, I think a fresh start for both parties is going to make Andrew Wiggins be better. It's going to make the Golden State Warriors be better because Wiggy has been so beneficial to help the Golden State Warriors win the past decade, and I do believe that. But overall, it's just not working anymore. And that's okay. Now's the time, and by now I mean Thursday by 2 p.m. Eastern Time is the time to say goodbye to Andrew Wiggins and hello to a possible new player to help the Warriors win right now. So, overall, who do you guys think the Warriors should trade for Andrew Wiggins? Who out there right now on the trade market could make the Warriors better now and possibly in the future? I prefer somebody younger to really start meshing with Podziemski and Kuminga. I'd rather not go out and get somebody like a 38-year-old Chris Paul again, but nonetheless, that's just my opinion. Go on ahead and drop yours down below, and then we're going to break down the two other things the Warriors need to do before the NBA trade deadline if they want to turn this season around and look like the Warriors the Bay Area knows and loves. But first, Prize Picks is on my mind, and I want to share it with you guys. It is a sponsor here on Warriors Today, but look, I've been playing this long before it was a sponsor. Same thing for Smitty. We've won hundreds of dollars on this app. We want to make sure you guys can win too. And here's the best part. It is the easiest thing you are going to do today. It takes less than 60 seconds to pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and you can win up to 25 times your money on any entry. What's beautiful about this? It's not just the NBA. The big game is coming up. You guys all know what big game I'm talking about. So I do have Patrick Mahomes having more than half a passing yard. And you heard me correctly because right now, Prize Picks is doing a 99% off deal on Patty Mahomes' total passing yards. If he reaches 1 passing yard, you win. That is beautiful. Christian McCaffrey to have more than 90.5 rushing yards. And then I took a demon. A demon is a harder pick, higher payout. A green goblin, which is the green version of this, is an easier pick, not as much of a payout, but I think Pacheco's been playing great right now, so I'm going to go on and give him 99.5 rushing yards. I picked the more on that one. You guys can go to Prize Picks right now and make your picks for tonight's NBA game, for the big game on next Sunday, or you guys can have numerous other collegiate and professional sports and players you can choose from. Just go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100 and watch yourself win some real money in real time. The next thing here on my list, my to-do list, I should say, is you got to make a choice on Klay Thompson and Chris Paul. I think it's time to finally address whether or not you want to keep these players for the long haul or to say sayonara. This back and forth of we're not trading Klay, but we're gauging calls for Klay. We're not sure what to do with Chris Paul, but we could trade away his $30.8 million is so confusing. Make a choice. Keep or trade Klay Thompson or Chris Paul, because I promise this is going to make your future so much more crystal clear once you figure out what you're going to do with the older players. And Mike Dunleavy has reported they are gauging calls for both of these players, but ultimately, I do have a feeling Steph Curry has a huge impact as to whether or not Klay Thompson and Chris Paul will be traded. Because look, for better or for worse is the real question here. Klay Thompson has kind of made the trio worse. If you look at this stat line, which I saw on Twitter earlier today, the Warriors since the 2021-22 season have gone 36-34 with Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry playing. The Warriors have gone 33-8 with just Draymond Green and Steph Curry. That speaks volumes to me in the sense that Klay may be holding the Warriors back at this point, especially with what you guys need to know about Klay Thompson moving forward. It doesn't really make sense to keep him past the trade deadline because he's on the last year of his 4-year contract. He's a free agent this summer. He was already offered a $2 million, 2-year deal, $48 million deal in the offseason, and he declined it. And now he's averaging career low points, field goal percentages, and three-point percentages. I'm not seeing a whole lot of pros to keeping Klay Thompson on the Golden State Warriors past February 8th if you can get somebody for $43.8 million right now. Should you trade Klay to regain some value? I say yes. I think that's a whopping salary that can magically change the Warriors season immediately with $43 million. If you add that on top of a $30.8 million contract like Chris Paul's, that could be huge for the Golden State Warriors. And believe it or not, there are teams out there that do want his veteran presence on their team, and they do believe he is still the point guard he was once before. CP3 to Orlando is the next report that came out saying the Magic have shown interest in Chris Paul ahead of the NBA trade deadline. I'm not surprised by this. The Magic's a pretty young team, so they're really looking for a veteran point guard to run that offense. So I do agree that Chris Paul could actually fit with the Orlando Magic. And like I said, Paul's on an expiring contract. There were numerous rumors that used to come out over the summer about whether or not Chris Paul was just in the Warriors to be traded away immediately. They kept Chris Paul, and now he's injured. But once he is healthy, could he be an available asset to other teams around the league? Let's go ahead and break down what a Orlando Magic and Golden State Warriors trade idea would look like. You would be getting Markelle Fultz, Mortice Wagner, and Joe Ingles on the Golden State Warriors, which is huge because that's a true big. You get another small forward, which would take over for Andrew Wiggins, and then you get another point guard, which would make up for getting rid of Chris Paul. The Magic would unfortunately have to receive Moses Moody with this trade because they're looking for more assets than just Chris Paul. Moses Moody, who has been the victim of Steve Kerr's rotation this season, he probably could benefit from a new scenery. As much as I don't want to get rid of Moses Moody, I do think that maybe his time is up in the Golden State Warriors uniform just because Steve Kerr isn't playing him. And overall, he deserves better than that. But nonetheless, would you guys accept this trade? Type A for accept, type D for decline. Go on ahead and comment that down below and let me know what you guys think about possibly getting rid of Chris Paul, because there is one more thing the Golden State Warriors should be doing ahead of the NBA trade deadline, and that's looking for another superstar. Unfortunately, I don't think Klay Thompson has as much superstar power as he has before. Draymond Green, of course, only played half the season right now, but he is, as of right now, making the Warriors play better. But they're still missing that spark plug to really help Steph Curry and his 60 points win the ball game. And the main thing here is on the other side of the ball. They need defense. Like yesterday, the Warriors are in desperate need of scoring and of defense. And unfortunately, there are very few players in this league that can do both very well. So I would harp more on defense and let Steph Curry worry about the offense right now. So why not go on ahead and trade for an all-NBA defensive player? Possibly a 3-time all-NBA defensive player and the NBA Defensive Player of the Year in 2022. Marcus Smart to San Francisco is music to my ears. And multiple teams have shown interest in Marcus Smart ahead of the NBA trade deadline. I think this is the energetic spark plug the Warriors really, really need, on top of amazing defensive assets. I think that right now Marcus Smart is a little bit hurt. He does have a hand injury, but he is expected to be reevaluated very, very soon. And I think that his defense speaks for itself. His advanced stats, his defensive rating is 109.2. That is the best defensive rating on the Warriors if he were to join right now. On top of that, he is allowing opponents to shoot 41.3% from the field overall, which is phenomenal for Marcus Smart, and he's averaging 2.1 steals per game. Marcus Smart is the epitome of a defensive player, and he also brings energy and life to whatever court he is on. We've seen this with the Boston Celtics. TD Garden used to erupt when Marcus Smart would make a huge play, and I do think that Chase Center needs a little bit more of that juice to really make this season overflow. He brings hustle. He brings enthusiasm to the game. He brings immense defensive power to the other side of the ball. Is he a huge scorer? No, but like I said, to get both a scorer and a defensive player to be at the excellent level the Warriors need, that's a heavy offer. But here's an offer that might shake up the NBA just a little bit, but hear me out. The Warriors would receive Marcus Smart and Zaire Williams, and the Grizzlies would receive Draymond Green. I personally think this trade would be excellent for the Golden State Warriors. Why? Because you're getting a younger player, a 29-year-old player in Marcus Smart, and you're going to get the exact same defensive attitude and mindset as somebody like Draymond Green, except possibly not as much of the external resources that he has had to provide. Although Draymond Green has changed, and he is getting better. Zaire Williams is 23-year-old ball player that has been playing fantastic for the Grizzlies at about 7 points per game, which could definitely help in the second rotation for the Warriors right now. I like Marcus Smart to the Warriors, but that's just my opinion. Go on ahead and break it down for me. Comment what you want the Warriors to do ahead of the NBA trade deadline. If you like Marcus Smart, let me know. If you guys think the Warriors should go out and get somebody else defensive-minded, whether it's a secondary scorer, whether it's a true big, you guys let me know what you want the Warriors to do because, baby, we are 3 days away, and I want to make sure all of your opinions are heard before that deadline happens. I just need one more thing from you guys for just thanking you for taking your time out of the day to watch Warriors today and get caught up on everything Golden State Warriors. Give this video a like if you guys love the Golden State Warriors and you guys want them to make a trade by the NBA trade deadline.